Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Hey, my name is Eric McKinley, and I am the Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. And today, today, we're going to be discussing something that a lot of people probably don't understand, but that's okay. Before it's all said and done, we will all understand. So do me a favor, as you jump on, drop your city and your state, like it, share it, and tag somebody. And that's exactly why I'm looking down, because I'm tagging some people. So give me 1 second as I get on this. Give me a second. Hope y'all had a productive day today. I know I did. Very productive day. It's Wisdom Tip Wednesday. What do y'all have to add to Wisdom Tip Wednesday? A couple more places I want to share this with. 1 second. And I'm just about done. Yeah. I got one more to hit. Got Miss Quartina Trafford out of Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama, on the call. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I am better than amazing. Give me something to drink, man. So y'all jumping on, man. Drop your city and your state. Like it, tag somebody. Share it.
Share it.
Hey, you know what I hate? And I know hate's a strong word. I hate when people get some information and they keep it to themselves and they don't share it, man. That, to me, that's just selfish. Wednesday, y'all.
It's very selfish.
Selfish, man. But I guess that's how a lot of us were. You know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to even entertain that foolishness. That's not how a lot of us were raised. That's how a lot of us actually ended up being, due to different life events happening to us, and we decided to revert to our selfish ways. So that's what really happened. But anyway, listen, guys, we've been doing series after series after series after series about financial information, financial education. We've been talking about business building. We're gonna get into business building a lot more. As a matter of fact, this was supposed to be one of those times, but I experienced something. Y'all. Not just last weekend, but I experienced something today as well. I'll talk about that later on. But I experienced something. I said, you know what, man? People need to understand what's going on, because a lot of people really don't understand how finances, let alone how money works. And because a lot of people don't understand, when you start explaining things and it's not the way they see them, they either one, pack up and run, right? They'll turn away. They'll turn the other way because it doesn't line up with what they think. Or they will sometimes listen and hear, but most times, if it's not something that they want to hear, they'll pack up and run, or they'll just deny. Had a conversation with a couple of people today, and what I'm learning and realizing, and actually always been reminded of, is that when people were only taught about working and about school, when something new is introduced to them, it seems foreign. It seems technical. Mm-hmm. It seems confusing. But with that same energy, right? With that same energy, if we were taught about our finances, if we were educated on finances, then it wouldn't be foreign. It would be something that we were familiar with. So I want to share something with you real quick. I know y'all probably hear this all the time, this term financial literacy. If you're out there and you see this, you probably hear the term financial literacy. Well, I've always said this, and I'm going to keep on saying it. Before you can become educated, you have to become literate. And financial literacy, or any type of literacy, is just basically having the ability to read and write. That's it. So when we hear people talk about, I know I hear them all the time, Tina. We hear people talking about, hey, we teaching financial literacy. I'm thinking to myself, what you teaching people how to read and write? That's what I'm thinking, because, and not to sound so literal, no pun intended, not to sound so literal about it, but when you start thinking about education is being in a space that you're able to apply because you understand. And little do a lot of people know, you can be literate without being educated. But most times, if you're educated, you're most likely going to be literate. I mean, I've seen some cases where people are educated, but they are not literate. But for the most part, if you're educated, you understand how to apply, you understand where things go and what it means. You've learned the definitions, you've learned the terminologies, you've learned how to actually apply the things that you've learned. Mm-hmm. And that makes the education part. That makes it so sweet to me. Because when you educated, nobody can take that away from you. When you're educated, I mean, if all you can do is sign your name to a piece of paper, they got you. If you cannot comprehend, if you can't break it down to where you understand, they got you. So we're teaching financial education. We're teaching and sharing financial education because we know how important it is to be educated on specific subjects and specific topics. Specifically speaking tonight, and I did a little bit of this today, but I want to touch bases on it more. So tonight we're going to talk about how interest, how poor credit and inflation affect your interest rates. Now we just coming off of a week, actually about 6 weeks, man, 6 sessions where we actually did all we talked about was credit education. We gave lots of credit education, and we came off of that. And I thought about some things. People do things based off what they understand. It don't matter how much advice you give them. It don't matter how many books they read. If it's something that they want to do, they're going to do it. As a matter of fact, I had this conversation with somebody say, you know what? The only time you can make somebody do something they don't want to do is if they want to do it. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only time you can make somebody do something they don't want to do. And for the most part, people reject knowledge. Mm-hmm. They run from it, they turn from it, they reject it because it's different from what they have been taught. And unfortunately, them rejecting knowledge is not only setting themselves up for failure, but it's setting the people up in their circle for failure. Not to mention, the immediate family, people who can use information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. And what do you have to say about that, Tina? You got something to add about, people just straight up, rejecting information? Like, why would you do that if you know something can help you?
Well, you touched on something right there, Eric. Because a lot of times people are rejecting the information because of the source. And I know we've talked about that before as well. Before you can even present the information, they already have a closed mind and a closed ear to the information because probably of the source. So it's a lot of reasons why some people, and it goes back to exactly what you're saying about, the literate part of it. So.
Well, and that's cool. We got Valerie Norfolk on the call, and we got Loretta Rayford Lindley on the call. And Loretta just said, she said rejection primarily because of the level of responsibility required. Mm-hmm. Oh, you stepped on some toes just now.
Yeah, that too.
I'm usually the one that's stepping on toes, but you stepped on some toes. So they rejected the information because they know it takes some application. Mm-hmm. It takes application. It's gonna take some responsibility. Think about this. I say this a lot. The job of the oppressor is to oppress you. and they don't care how they oppress you. So they're not going to give you everything that you need to break your financial chains. It's no conspiracy. There is an oppressor, and the oppressor is usually somebody that you trust. Oftentimes, somebody that we've been taught to fear as well. But the oppressor's job is to keep you under their thumb, or to even make you think that you cannot do something. It's their job. It could be a man or a woman that's in your life. A lot of people out here sleeping with the enemy, and they don't want to see their own significant other, their spouses, their girlfriends, boyfriends, be better than them, because they feel like, hey, if they better than you, then they're gonna leave you. You know, they may move on, they may graduate. I'm just keeping it real. But the job of any oppressor is to make sure you stay in place. Now, here's the problem. The problem comes when the oppressed becomes the oppressor. That's where the problem comes. We got Lisa Nixon out of Baton Rouge. The problem comes when the oppressor, the person that has been being oppressed for all these years, the problem comes when they unconsciously start oppressing people. Think about it. It's a pattern. If somebody tells you you can't do something for years, you're going to believe it. If you don't have a strong mind, you're going to start believing it. So what we're talking about, if you're just jumping on, we're going to be talking about how poor credit and how inflation affects your interest rate. And you're probably saying, what does that got to do with finances, man? Come on. Well, we did a whole series on credit education. And if y'all missed it, you can get back on this page. Find us at National BB LLP, or on anybody's timeline that shared this information, anybody on the panel. We got Miss Lillis Lumpkins out of St. Louis. She's going to be mad at me because, So I'm going to tell you why. I'm all over the place, y'all. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But that's why, though. So you got to think about that, all right? You got to think about that. And it does have a lot to do with financial education. Once again, most people don't know, okay? Most people don't know what it takes, right? A lot of people don't know what it takes to be able to understand credit, interest rates, things like that. Even inflation, how it actually affects it. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide on into this presentation. You may have seen some of this morning, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, all right? So check it out. Let me go ahead and share my screen a second. If y'all see my eyes kind of closing up, that's not because I'm on any type of medication or anything. That's because I am just tired. All right, so we're gonna push through this thing though, right? Because I got my favorite beverage over here, my bottle of water. We're gonna get this thing going. All right, give me 1 second. I hope y'all like I said, I hope y'all had a wonderful day today. So check it out. Gotcha. So check it out. Let me go ahead because I want to see my screen. There you go. So here we go, y'all. Y'all gotta understand something, man. When you understand how finances work, specifically money, you will begin to understand that banks, all other types of financial institutions, the government, your job, big business, they're not your friends. You'll understand that. And as you begin to understand that, you'll begin to understand how you have to apply certain things in your life, not just to get ahead, but to stay ahead. So, how does poor credit and inflation affect your interest rates? And the reason why I'm doing this, I had an epiphany, y'all. I had a short conversation, but I wanted to make sure I was clear on what I was saying. So I want to share this part. So I did a little bit of this today, but I want to talk about it. And I didn't block this one out, but because I want you to see this. Literacy versus education. This textbook, y'all. So stop telling people that you're teaching financial literacy or that they need financial literacy. Unless you're talking about getting somebody to read or write, I'm just saying, stop that. See, while an educated person can be literate, every literate person cannot be called educated. Education gives us the ability to apply and understand, and apply. See, the proper application of knowledge is power, not knowledge is power. And it will never be, because I know people as early as today got some information and knew some information. And basically what I did was I just verified what they already knew. And they walked away from me as lost as they were when they came to me. And they weren't lost because I wasn't clear about what I was saying or sharing. They were lost because of a mindset. And it takes a mindset shift, okay? So let's talk about what interest is. Let's talk about what interest is. Now, understand, this is going to seem real elementary to some people. Some people may even get offended that I'm talking like this. They may say, you know what, Tina? I know what interest is. I don't need you to tell me. Don't worry about it. If you know what it is, that's great. I'm going to tell the people who are not sure, all right? So, so interest is basically the amount of money that's charged for the right or the privilege of borrowing money. The reason why a lot of people don't know what interest is because they loan money without charging it. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let that one sit for a minute. And if anybody has anything they want to say or chat in the comments about it, yes indeed, I want y'all to say something. I'm looking at these comments. She said, yeah, it takes a mindset shift. Yeah, man, listen, if you don't understand basic things and you don't apply them, would you say that you're educated? I just told you what the definition of education is. If you don't understand and you don't apply, that makes you uneducated. If somebody tells you and you say you understand and you don't apply, by definition, y'all can look it up, that makes you stupid. Because you are blatantly doing the opposite. Now, somebody ain't gonna like that, but I didn't write that definition. I just read it. So don't be mad at me. But basically, interest is the amount of money that's charged for the privilege of borrowing money. It's usually or typically expressed in or as annual percentage rate, APR. You ever heard of that, APR, Tina? Mm-hmm. That's the annual percentage rate. Now, the annual percentage rate and the interest rate could be different. I left that out there. I should have put that in there. The annual percentage rate and the interest rate could be slightly different. Because remember, it's either compounded daily, compounded monthly, or compounded annual, okay? Interest is the amount of money a lender or financial institution receives for lending out money. Also, guess what? Interest can be the amount of money that you receive for gains, right? Maybe on your investments. Mm-hmm. Maybe in that huge checking account that you're getting 0.5% of interest on. I don't know. But you can earn interest too. So you don't have to be a bank or a financial institution to gain interest. You can gain interest without being that, okay? Can you see that down in the bottom? The bottom left, Tina?
Yeah, the interest.
Yeah, read that for me.
Interest is the penalty we pay for the right to own something that we cannot afford.
Say it one more time, because somebody ain't gonna hear that.
That we cannot afford. Interest is
that we cannot afford. Yeah, we can't afford it. So what happens is we end up charging it. And I know we get into the topic. We end up charging it. And this is one of the things that we don't understand about finances. We don't understand how money works. We don't understand how interest works. Nobody's going to let you borrow money for nothing. Maybe your family member will, but after seeing this, maybe they won't. Maybe they might charge you a flat fee, you know? Because here's the thing, you know what? Interest, when they charge you interest, you know they're really trying to deter you from borrowing money, right? You know that? Huh?
No, I ain't know that.
You know that? That's what I do. When I charge interest, I'm just trying to deter the person from borrowing money. Now, when they charge interest, that's taxes. They taxing you. and they're letting you know that ain't nothing free.
Exactly.
And depending on what your credit score look like, you're gonna pay a large amount of interest
Yeah.
if you want that thing that you can't afford. Okay, so here we go. Now the topic of this, y'all, if you're just jumping on, how does poor credit and inflation affect the interest rate? Well, inflation is the decrease in the purchasing power of money. Inflation is when your purchasing power is decreased. Think about it. They had a pipe. They had the gas line was interrupted. Somebody hacked into the gas line. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But they hacked into the gas line, and when they compromised the gas line, things went up. Different things affect inflation. Different things affect inflation. Rain can affect inflation. The weather can affect inflation. Why? Because if the product cannot get to the consumer, then the supply and demand goes up. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when the supply and demand goes up, people can't get it. It's gonna cost more. Inflation's gone up. Think about this. This is a real quick economics lesson. Most people pick their produce from the grocery store. Not a lot of people have a garden, right?
Right.
So that means there's a couple of things that are involved in getting those groceries to the store. There's a couple things involved. What do you think is involved in getting the groceries to the store, team?
Transportation.
Transportation. You was in the military, wasn't
Mm-hmm. I was logistics in the military. So
you? Okay, so you cheating. So I ain't gonna ask you again. No, transportation. It's important. You need transportation. So now the farmers are gonna go to the weed and feed store, right?
mm-hmm.
And they're gonna get their seed. So they got to go to the store to get their seed. In order for them to get their seed, it's gonna take what? How they gonna get there? Transportation, right?
Transportation.
They're gonna need fuel in their vehicles to get to the seed store. But farmers are so far advanced right now, they don't use plows and mules and horses, right? They use tractors. So guess what the tractor needs?
Fuel.
Fuel. It needs fuel. It needs oil, right? It needs tires. So now the farmer is going to spend money on fuel and seed to actually plow and till that land, right? And now when they spend that money on the seed and the gas, the fuel, and they put that seed in the ground, and it comes up some months later, weeks and months later. Now logistics. This is your part, team. What happens then? Once it's ready for harvest, how does it get to the market?
Okay, we're still gonna package it, and we still need transportation to transport it to the market or to the buyers or to the point
Okay.
of destination.
To the point of destination. Okay, so it's gonna take some 18 wheelers, right?
Yep.
It may take some ships,
Yep.
it takes some airplanes, but all those things they take fuel. So inflation is going to determine how much that fuel is going to cost, right? It's going to also be reflected in the price of those goods, those vegetables, those fruits, right? So all that has a part in it, and then once it gets to the market, so here's the thing: the farmers got to pay to get to the seed place, and they got to use fuel and everything. Then transportation logistics is going to have to pay to get the products from the farmer to the market store, the grocery store, and then the grocery store is going to have to pay their people, right, to actually put all the food and everything out. Well, what happens then? They're not going to eat all that cost. The consumer's going to eat it. And that's who gets the back end of inflation. Now, the higher the inflation rate, the more the interest rates are going to rise. Not likely, they're going to rise. If inflation is high, the interest rate's going to be high. And when that happens, a lot of lenders are going to have, and they're going to demand higher interest rates to offset the decrease of purchasing power. So you see that dollar right there, that itty bitty dollar, that itty bitty dollar represents the purchasing power that people have. All right, that's what that represents. It represents the purchasing power that people have or don't have. And right now, you're talking about maybe 70 cents on the dollar as far as purchasing power, and it's going down. So now you understand that in 1990, 1985, you probably could have had $20 and could have bought $20 worth of groceries. You probably would have been a basket full of groceries. Try that now. That $20 is not valued at the same amount. It has the same face value, but it don't have the same value. So I wanted to be sure that people understand that they understand what inflation is and how inflation and poor credit is going to affect your interest rates. We already know poor credit, the lower your credit score, the worse off your credit score, the worse off your credit report, then you're going to have to end up paying more or higher interest rates because you are a risk. Okay, you're a risk. So let's check out the credit scores and how they affect the interest rates. I hope everybody can see this picture because this is nothing more than an example. All right, this is an example. Now, excuse me, with loans, an average rate is often advertised instead of a range. That's what happens. That means that an average rate instead of the range. They don't want you to just pick out a number. They want you to say the average rate. You may be in the middle, you may be on top, you may be on the bottom. But whatever your credit score is, that's what you're going to usually qualify for. With a bad credit score, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be on the bad end. That's it. All right. So this picture says it all. It really does. If you look on the left-hand side, someone with good credit with a loan amount of $20,000 at a term of 60 months, it's 5 years, at 6%. Now that's a good credit score. They didn't say an excellent credit score. That's a good one. So they could be at like a 720, right? They're gonna have a monthly payment of $387. And they're gonna have a total interest cost of $3,199. So that $20,000 vehicle is gonna actually end up costing them $23,199. That seem about right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's somebody with good credit. Now, what about somebody with bad credit or no credit at all? See, just because you got bad credit, that don't mean that you're not going to be financed. You just got to take the financing that they give you. Same person, $20,000 loan, 5 years, 60 months. You're talking about 26% interest. 26%. You believe that?
Mm-mm.
You don't believe that? You probably, huh? You probably because you probably never happened to you.
Exactly.
Well, guess what? Guess what?
Happening to people every day.
I believe it. Nah, how about that? I believe it because it happened to me. All right, I believe it. Now, I ain't proud of it, but it happened, and that's because one, I didn't understand credit, or even how important credit was. Two, I didn't have any type of financial education. Oh, I was literate. I could read. I could read with the best of them. I could write with the best of them, but I didn't understand. And that was the problem. 26%. That's like price gouging. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But then here's the thing. When you look at that monthly payment and you say, it's only $5.99 a month, you like, man, I can handle that. See, they want to make it look appealing. But you're paying $599 a month on a $20,000 loan. We don't look at that. And if you do the math, that's $15,929 in interest. Almost $16,000 in interest. You're gonna end up paying almost $36,000 for that car over a period of 5 years. You gonna almost pay for that car twice.
Yes.
But you need the car. Right?
Right.
Wrong. You need a car, not that one. And that's where the discipline comes, man. That's where the discipline comes. We need a car to get around, get back and forth to work, take care of our family. We don't need that at 26%. But that's not what we're telling ourselves. We're not telling ourselves that. Let me stop this share, man. Because I'm gonna tell you. Here's what it is. We're not telling ourselves that we don't need. I see Miss Bertha. I figured you were saying I had to get you in, Miss Bertha. How you doing?
All right.
Out the DMV. Yeah, we need a car. I don't know if you was watching, Miss Bertha, where you were, but we just talking about how poor credit and inflation will affect our interest rates.
Yeah, you hit me.
Yeah, see, Cortina's she's brand new. She's being brand new. She said not her. That never happened to her. But
look, I have a Highlander SUV.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 years. Hey.
Yeah.
And I was paying more than what it was due, so I could hurry up and pay it off. Because I knew this information.
But yeah, so before though, when you out there trying to get a vehicle and your credit is suspect and your mindset won't shift or change, and you thinking you just gonna do it how you want to do it. See, because we had this long educational piece about credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about business, and we'll probably do that Friday, but I want to get this out because to me this was important. Mm-hmm. I want people to understand how poor credit and inflation work hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fall victim to it, but for people like Cortina, who this ain't never happened to before, you know what I'm saying? So,
not no 26%.
Well, I'm just saying, but that happens.
That does happen.
Yes,
it didn't happen to me at 26. It happened to me at 18.
18.
Even those high numbers, it's shocking.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not looking at the bottom line. You're looking at I got a car. That's your bottom line.
Right. I know people like that. You're right.
And we ain't looking at that in 2 years. That car is gonna be upside down.
Right.
Unless you just get the car and park it and don't drive it. That ain't why you bought it. So
when I think about that now, man, it blows my mind.
Yeah,
because remember I told you I went in that car deal and he went back and he came back and he looked at me. I didn't walk out there with no car. He said, "I'll call you, Miss Winston." He never called.
That reminds me of. That reminds me of.
And I said, that would never happen to me again. I got busy, man.
That reminds me of this comedian. This comedian had this joke.
That was for real. It wasn't no comedian.
I
was a comedian.
How did you feel? How was your feelings?
I was embarrassed. And that's why I said that would never happen to me again.
I'm glad you.
But guess what? I went back to that same dealership. I asked to speak to the manager, the top guy. I said, I want him to sell me a car. I ain't kidding. I had to go back and do it. I got my car for 3%.
All right.
At that time, it would have been 18 or 20.
I'm telling you.
But I didn't go back till I got my stuff straight. When you got your stuff straight, you can talk your talk.
Well, see, some people, some people don't go through that, so they don't have that issue. I know I had some conversations with some people that's like, that never happened to me. But then you got to think about it. It's happening around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if it's happening around you and you have this information, if it's happening around you, you have this information, then that means you have an opportunity to make a positive impact on somebody's life just by sharing this without them having to go through the same embarrassment. And let's put the embarrassment aside.
Mm-hmm.
Your family needs a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need a vehicle. Like I say, not that 26% interest rate vehicle. They don't need that one,
Right.
but they need a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are equipped with information that we can help people, so they don't have to go through the same things that we've gone through,
right,
then it makes it more better.
Yeah.
It makes it more better. But it reminds me though of this comedian that was talking about his credit, and he wanted to get a Hummer. He wanted to get a Hummer. And he went to the dealer, and dealer walked him in there, and he said, let me check your credit. He said, did all the stuff, checked his credit. And the guy, he looked up at him, and looked at him, he went back down, he looked at him.
Same thing.
He looked at him again, Miss Bertha. And then he said, okay, your credit ain't that great. He said, but I got something for you. And he said, he walked him through the showroom. And he kept on, you remember that joke? That it was the car. He walked him through the showroom. He kept on walking past some nice looking cars. And he said he started going out the showroom and he went to the lot. And he started getting to the used cars, which were still nice and decent. And he kept on going towards the back. And he kept on going towards the back to some less desirable cars. And he kept on going till he got to this fence. And he got to this fence, and there was a crack in the middle of the fence, enough for them to walk through. And the dealer walked through, and he said, man, what's back here? And he said, hey, I got something for you. And he walked him right back to the same raggedy car that he had. And, and told him he couldn't help him because his credit score was too low. That's just a joke. But, you got to think about it. When people are actually going through things like that, it ain't funny. It's sad.
It's not.
We know that we're not in a position, but we just don't know how bad it is until we actually sit down with somebody and we get denied.
Yeah.
We get denied.
Nobody wants to be denied. It's like rejection.
Yep.
But I tell you, man, but this what I did. I went to after I got all my stuff straight, I knew I was ready. Okay. I went to the credit union and got pre-approved. I took in my paper and I said, that's why I wanted to speak to the manager. I said, can you beat this?
So you ain't sit there and throw it on the table, did you, Miss Bertha?
I said, I already been pre-approved for this card.
Yeah.
I would like to know if you could beat this interest rate. Do you know they beat it?
They want your business. Yeah. See, it's one thing.
What I did, I got his interest rate. Then I went around and refinanced at the credit union for the cheaper rate.
See, what it is they want your business, and if you already been pre-approved, it's better than how you was when you walked in and asking for something.
That's right.
That's right. That's a nice tactic.
That was, yeah. I was like, I gotta get him back.
Yeah, you went in there and threw it down, huh?
Oh, I said, I got to get them back. They would never embarrass me like that again.
and just imagine how many people wouldn't have the discipline, though, to go ahead and get their situations together.
Right, yeah, I did do that.
I remember, and this is another story, but this was true. I remember I was embarrassed to even apply for a mortgage because I knew my credit was bad. This was some 16 years ago. And I was embarrassed, but my family needed a house. And actually had a lender and a realtor that actually worked with us. But I had to do some things, had to pay some things off.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell anybody who's out there listening, if you want something and you're thinking that your credit is not where it should be, or if you need something for your family, it's not where it should be, don't be afraid to go in there and see where you actually stand.
Right.
Because if you never go in there and see where you stand, you'll never know where you have to be.
Exactly.
That's just my little plug. So we got a couple more slides, y'all. Just a couple more, and then we're gonna go ahead and have our little spiel. Give me 1 second. So let's see. I think we was right here. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. The difference between good credit in this scenario and bad credit or no credit is $12,730. That's the difference. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but let's see. I don't know how you feel about that, And Miss Loretta said she needs to know how to increase her credit score higher. Hey, check this out. Get with you after this, okay? I'll get with you after this and give you some couple of points, okay? But yeah, that's the difference. $12,000, almost $13,000. That's ridiculous.
That's a lot of money.
You know what you can do with $13,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a car, you can pay for a car cash.
Yeah. You're right.
You know, you can literally use car cash.
Yep.
That's how our credit scores affect our interest rates. Now, poor credit and inflation also affects it because I said when your credit is poor and then inflation goes up, it drives the interest rates up. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so now check this out. I'm gonna show y'all the same thing that you just saw, but this is a calculator that we have, and all I did was screenshot this, and you'll be able to see me put these numbers in. So check this out. Imagine this. Imagine you got a loan, right? $20,000 loan. Your interest rate is compounded monthly at 6% for a number of years of 5 years. And when you calculate that thing out, like I said, it's 300. It said $387. They rounded up to the nearest dollar, but it's $386.66 for 5 years. That's an interest rate at 6%, loan amount of $20,000. Now, that's your interest rate. You can do the math, y'all. All you got to do is take 386.66 and multiply it by 60 months, and that's the interest that you're going to pay. So like I said, you're going to be paying $23,199.60 in interest. That's not too bad. I mean, because you're going to have to pay something back. It's rare, but there are things that are 0% interest, and most likely what's going to happen is your credit's going to be better than good. But 0% interest is out there. Okay, it's out there.
Yeah, it is.
So now the next scenario is poor credit, and y'all saw that. But I just wanted to go through this. The same situation. It's a $20,000 loan, but your interest rate is 26%. 5 years, same thing, right? Now that monthly payment just jumped up. It just jumped up about $212 to $598.81. 5 years. Now you may be thinking, hey, I can handle that. But that's an additional $212 per month that you could have been doing something with, all because our credit was questionable. Okay. 26% interest, same loan. Check this out. You're talking about $15,920. That's almost $16,000 in interest paid. Like I said, that's you're paying for that car almost twice.
Yes.
Almost twice.
Twice. Two cars.
$35,000, $36,000 for a $20,000 car. Really? And people are doing it because they need that vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, I had some other stuff for you, and I got it blocked out. So Miss Bertha, I'm finna do something.
Okay.
And I don't want you to get mad at me. This ain't about you, but I want to share this because I want to show people that if they did finance it with great credit, how that was going to affect them. Okay. So here, now let's say you decide to pay cash. Now this ain't directed to anybody specifically. Let's say you decide to pay cash and you got good credit. Okay. You decide to pay cash and you got good credit. Well, this is some of the things that you got to think about because people buy their vehicles cash money for several reasons. Everybody's situation is different.
Right.
You may be somebody who has disposable income. You may be somebody who does not want a monthly note. You may be somebody who doesn't want to incur that debt. You may be somebody who says, hey, I'm at a certain age right now and I just want to go ahead and get what I want, whatever the case may be. But here's the other side of that, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the other side of that. I want you to see when people don't really understand money, because a lot of people who make the decision to buy cash, pay cash, don't really understand that they're losing money. Now, when you are of a certain age, when you're a certain season, you should know where your money is and how you can actually build money. But if you have great credit, you can leverage that great credit and you can make more money. How can you do that? I want you to see this. Imagine the same one-time investment. It's a different stream, right? But it's a one-time investment. Now, let's say I put that money in an interest-bearing account, a vehicle that's going to get me 10%. All right? For the same 5 years. Instead of paying for that vehicle cash, I can do it 5 years, and I can sit there and take my money that I was going to pay for cash and have it in an investment vehicle that's going to draw me 10%. Right? I'm gonna calculate that. That same $12,000 in interest. Excuse me. The same $12,000 difference from the bad credit to the good credit. It's the same $12,000 or $13,000 that your money would grow if you didn't pay it off in cash. Okay, so that's just an example. There's a lot of people who don't know this because they have their money where? In a bank. Yeah, in a bank. The interest that you could have made was almost $13,000 in 5 years. Now, a lot of people gonna look at that and they're gonna say, "We know what, Eric." So that ain't a lot of money. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know about you, but where can you get 10% on your money in a bank? Not a lot of places you're gonna find that you can't, that you have to. There's a lot of places, but you have to invest. You have to invest the money. Okay, and I don't want to steer away from the conversation, but there's other options, is what I'm saying. Especially if you got good credit and you understand. Because I hear people all the time say, "I don't work in credit, I don't operate in credit." Well, being that this is a pandemic, being that things are often changing, a lot of people are on fixed incomes. I know a lot of my buddies are on fixed income. Whatever the case they may, whatever they may be in, especially with us being in the military. A lot of people think because we're in the military or retired, they think that our money ain't gonna stop. They got to own off faucet on that one too. It may not stop, but it'll slow down. The first of the month comes, you don't get your check. You know what's gonna happen? Especially if you only have one stream of income. The first of the month comes, you're in the military or you retired military. The first of the month comes, and that check don't come. Uncle Sam is late depositing that money. Oh, you're gonna be mad. and you just dropped 20 stacks on the car, cash money. I'm just saying. So we got to think about all the different avenues of what's going on, especially if we only have one stream of income. Now, somebody who does that, they should have more than one stream of income. They should have weighed their options. They should have looked at what they had going on. They may be pushing something to the side. It could have been a tax deduction. It could have been a tax deal. You know what I'm saying? Could have been a lot of different things. They could have had to make a move right then. It's a lot of different things that's going on. But I just wanted to show everybody that so they can have a different look as well. Because if you're putting your money in a bank, I'm telling you right now, the bank is beating you across the head. They're kissing you on your lips and they're kicking you in your behind. When your back is turned, they're slapping you. Because for every $1,000 that you have in the bank, they can loan out 10 times that amount of money. I'll say that again for the people that are in the back who believe in the banks and they say, "Hey, that's where I put my money because it's safe." There's nothing wrong with putting operating capital in the bank. There's nothing wrong with putting a little back money in the bank. Little quick snatch and grab if that's what you want to do. But when you put large denominations of money in the bank, for every $1,000 that the bank houses that is yours, you're giving them the ability to loan out 10 times that. So for those of you who are sitting on $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in a bank, you're giving that bank the opportunity to loan out at up to $500,000. And they're going to get interest on that money.
There you go.
And they're going to build wealth.
Yep.
And then they're going to give you a calendar or a toaster every year saying thank you And you're going to be excited because every time you go into the bank, everybody knows you. You feeling like you're respected because everybody knows you. And you can get as many of them suckers that you want on that bank counter because that's what you are.
They ain't giving out calendars no more. I asked for one. They said they stopped.
They're giving out almanacs. They might be giving out almanacs.
No more calendars.
No more almanacs either. Yeah. Well,
that bank said they didn't send them no more.
Well, I mean, you mean to tell me you put all that money in the bank and they won't even get your calendar?
My bank said they didn't send out no more calendar. I said, what?
Listen, this is an educational point. And a lot of people don't understand, so we need to actually kind of clear this thing up. Once again, there's nothing wrong with putting your money in the bank, but don't put so much money in the bank to where it's not going to grow for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're putting all that money in the bank and you're saying, well, I got it in the bank because I need to get access to it. There's other ways to do that. And I don't want to digress from the conversation. We're showing you how credit and inflation affects your interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have poor credit and you're fighting and combating inflation and the interest rates are going up, then you have no choice but to get your credit together. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the answer. So that's what I had for you this evening. I hope it made some sense. I hope it's beneficial. I hope y'all got some value out of it. What I want y'all to do is like it, share it, and tag somebody. And if you know someone who is struggling with their credit, because this is the last tidbit of the credit issue, they're struggling with their credit. Like Ms. Loretta said, she needs to not increase her score. Got to look at different factors. There's different things. Everybody's situation is different. You know, remember, there's 5 factors to our credit scores: payment history, credit utilization, length of credit. Then you have your new credit and your credit mix. And you'd have to actually pull your credit report to see where you are lacking in those areas. You have to pull that. That's just a regular, but we can still get together after this if you like to get you in the right direction. But Ms. Bertha, since you came on a little bit later, I know you had another obligation. What I want you to do is, if you had something to say to someone that was on your timeline that had a challenging credit score and they were looking to buy something, they didn't want to really fix their credit score. They just, they just cool with you shaking your head, Ms. Bertha. Yeah, well, there's a lot of them out there. Yeah, they didn't.
Well, I mean, if they don't want to fix it, they gonna get the boot.
They gonna get the boot. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: the importance of understanding.
Yeah, I would say, you getting the education, take advantage of it before you go out there and spend your money. If you could hold off, wait, until you get your finances in order. They will sell your car. I mean, they don't even care because they're gonna get a commission, and they're gonna put you in a vehicle. If you want one, you could get off that lot with a car.
Mm-hmm.
But why pay 18 when you could pay 3, 5? I mean, it's just it's mind-boggling to me. I mean, when I look back now, I just can't imagine going into a dealership paying 18 or 26% for a car when you could get it with some work on yourself and your credit. You could get it for at least 3 to 5%.
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's a no-brainer.
It's definitely,
it's a no-brainer. So guys, I would just say, work on your stuff. You'll be glad that you did. You'll save some money. We're trying to save money. We're not trying to give it away. That was probably a blessing to me. That guy, that was probably a blessing to me that he looked at me. He went out. He looked at me. He came back. I'll give you a call, Miss Winston. I never heard from that joker. And so that let me know that I needed to do some work. And you got to be willing to do it. I mean, if you want a quick fix, bam, by all means, do it. But if you want to save some money, then get your house in order, get your finances in order, do the work that you need to do so that you can save money. I mean, we giving you this free education. It's powerful. Once you understand it, you're not going back there. I mean, I would never go back there because God delivered me from that. And hey, it's a mindset as well. So just do it. You didn't get in overnight. You ain't gonna get out overnight. It's gonna take a little time, but it's worth it. I could tell you, it's worth the wait. Just do it.
Yeah, you don't want to be our age, my age, his birthday age, Katina age, and you're still trying to get your life together financially. There's a lot of people that say, I get started when I get ready. Well, you know what? That's not, it ain't gonna be here when you get ready.
That's right.
Now, like Miss Bertha said, they'll give you a car. They'll slap you right on the pin, one of them things.
Yep.
And smile at you like they have you on the way.
Like they done you a favor.
Yeah, but the guy, like you said, the guy that didn't call you back really did you a favor. That was God.
He really did. He really did.
It forced us to get our stuff together. So I appreciate that, Miss Bertha, because that makes a lot of sense. If you can wait. Do some discipline. Wait. Because there's always gonna be something better. That's a sign that the door is being closed. Stop opening up doors that God be closed.
Yeah.
God had closed that door because that interest rate was 26%.
Yeah.
And that credit score was 540.
Yeah.
He closed that door.
Somewhere in that vicinity.
And then here come the devil. Coming in talking about, hey, but if you put down $5,000, yeah. Go ahead, Quartine. What you got for the folks?
Look, he didn't even ask me for no down payment. Send me home.
He just said, Miss Bertha, he'll give you a call. That's all okay. That's okay.
He sent me home.
But at least you were able to go back, Miss Bertha. So that's a testimony in itself.
Yeah.
What I have tonight is what resonated with me the most were the definitions that we led out with. Because I had to do an aha for myself because I caught myself using the word literate, financial literate, until you posted the definitions up there, and I was like, you know what, he's right. The ability to read and write, and the versus being educated, the ability to comprehend and understand and apply. So I know for me going forward, and that's what I'm going to say to everybody who's listening or going to catch this on the replay, that we have to, concentrate on being educated. Like you said, Ms. Bertha, we on here, multiple times throughout the week, we're giving out this information, you just plug, listen in so you can become educated. So we don't have these situations where we're going in and having to pay these high inflated interest rates for things that we think we need at that time. And I was even pondering on, like, I've purchased a few vehicles in my life. What's the highest interest rate that I've paid that I can recall? And I think like 8%, and I think that was high. So that was back in my early 30s, but that was the divorce me. I'm gonna put that out there. That was me, the divorce, coming out of a divorce. But it's definitely, I'm definitely getting educated. So I advise everybody to do the same, because even with this conversation, I'm looking at things and I'm thinking about going forward, the mistakes that I don't want to make, that I made in my past, that I'm now pondering on those things because of these discussions that we're having.
That's good.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. And whoever's listening, like I said, it's not to make people feel bad, but I'm gonna tell you, even if you do feel bad, wouldn't you rather feel bad right here than feeling bad going into that spot? They're telling you all the stuff that they're telling you, because I promise you, they're not gonna educate you. They're gonna either take your money or not call you back, like Ms. Bertha said. And when you get that and you don't know why you didn't get it, that feels like almost even worse. Because you can't fix what you don't understand.
Yeah.
You can't correct what you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, you know, as a business owner, as a salesperson, we're services. Most of our stuff is services. Most all of our stuff is services. You know, I have some products, we have some products, but most of our stuff is services. So we gotta be able to relate to people why it's important to do certain things, and because many of us take it to heart when somebody tells you no or you feel rejected. Well, everything ain't for you.
That's true.
Everything's not for you, and you gotta understand you may not be my assignment. But just because you're not my assignment, that don't mean I'm not gonna share this information with you. We just might not supposed to be connected.
Yeah.
Just keep it real.
That's right.
That don't mean you can't hear something I say, use it and apply it to your life.
Right.
You know, oftentimes people get upset because you're telling them something that they already know. And they don't want to confirm what they already know when they want to hear. You know, but let's get better stewards, get better at being better stewards of our finances. And let's understand that it's not about being financially literate. It's about becoming financially educated, meaning that we're going to understand so we'll be able to apply so we can make better decisions.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what it's about. We got to be able to make better decisions. So it's at the top of the hour. We got Miss Bertha Winston out of DMV. We got Miss Martina Trafford out of Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City. And you got yours truly, Eric McKinley, coming out of Columbia, South Carolina. I'm in my office. My eyes are about to shut down. The lights about to get turned off. And listen, y'all, I'm hoping y'all got some knowledge and some information out of this. Miss Loretta, check your messenger if you want to find out what I know. Check your messenger because I sent you a message. Just want you to respond to it so we can have a conversation via messenger so I can try to assist you in getting where you want to be. But here's the deal. Like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. Once again, like it, share it, tag somebody. If you hit the replay, hit a hashtag replay, but somebody needs to hear this. I see a lot of people tagged a lot of people in this. So I will see each and every one of you at the top.
Y'all know. And the people struggling at the bottom, we trying to get y'all up to the top.
Everybody need to win.
We on our way. So we want to carry you with us.
That's it. And y'all take care. Y'all have a good evening. Good night.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.
Good night.